Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, a blast from the past. We have been loaned a number of kits by a good friend of the channel, David, and one of the ones that I had input into this, of course, he gave me a list of all the things he had. And here we've got a classic armour from Tamiya from 1975. So, you know, this is almost half a century old. And I wanted to have a look at it because everybody talks about these old Tamiya armour kits and says how really good they were. And I haven't really, I wasn't really making Tamiya kits at the time. This is at the time when I was really into Matchbox and Airfix, like most of us I think initially. And I didn't come to Tamiya until later. So why don't we have a look at some of their early stuff? You know, this is obviously the Walker Bulldog, the M41. It's basically a medium American battle tank, and it comes also, I mean, the tank was introduced late 50s, wasn't it, mid-late 50s, and it sort of carried on into the 60s, and it comes, this kit, with some 1/35th scale military figures as well. So you get quite a lot for your money in this. I don't think they were very expensive at the time. I mean, back in 1975, this would probably set you back about £2, maybe £2.50p, something like that. Thereabouts, anyway. Not more than that. And I thought we'd have a look at it. Now, the artwork's a little bit odd. It's like the proportions are a bit strange to me, but let's not worry about that. Let's have a look at what they've got. Now, on the side of the box, this is the way Tamiya used to do their boxes. Look at these other options. This is very like the Matchbox style as well, where they're offering you on the side their other products for your next delightful, you know, presentation. So what we got? We got a German Panzer 4, is it? Panzer 3, sorry. Panzer 3. British tank, Matilda, and then we've got a German M4 Sherman, and then we've got a British Centurion tank, a post-war tank. So now you can pick these up still today, you know, and they're not expensive. This is the era where Tamiya really cut their teeth and started to become quite a big brand worldwide. If you think about also around this time, they were started to produce their aircraft kits that were becoming, you know, really quite popular. But it's kind of these kits, these 1/35th armour kits that, you know, people like Francois Verlinden was producing fantastic dioramas using these. Now, he was a big factor in bringing them to major global prominence, I'd say. Let's have a look at what's in the box. Now, the one thing I didn't like about these early boxings is that everything's in Japanese on the side. So you do get some history, but I can't read Japanese, so I'm none the wiser. And I'm afraid it's the same inside as well. Now, that is the one thing that lets it down. And of course, today Tamiya, They do it in, I think they do it in French, English, Japanese, and maybe possibly German as well, I'm not sure. But we're looking at something here from nearly, as I say, half a century ago. Anyway, we'll get into the details in a moment. So we've got some loose sprues and some sprues that are in bags. We've got some rubber band tracks. Oh, rubber band tracks. We have to be careful with those, don't we? Last time I was loaned a kit with rubber band tracks, well, let's just say it didn't end very well, to be honest. Any of you that don't know what I'm talking about, go and look at my Matchbox Honey Stewart tank review. Loaned to me by another good friend of the channel, John Bevan. Didn't go well at all. Anyway, moving on. Try not to put the fear of God in David, and they'll be starting to panic. At least the rubber tracks here from 75 on the Tamiya are still rubbery, which is part of the problem that we had before. They weren't very rubbery, those ones, but I say I'll let you go and see the video because it's quite amusing. Right, let's zoom in on this. Here we've got our instructions. So it's the M4 Walker Bulldog. It gives a bit of talk about what the competitors and the predecessors were, but it doesn't tell us anything in English, so we can't really comment on that too much. It clearly says the Sheridan is the later tank that followed it, but here we are. And I have to say, it's very much a sort of an airfixy Matchbox style to the instructions in those days. And again, there's no English, which is the one thing that really does disappoint you about these early Tamiya. They weren't thinking about the global audience so much. Anyway, it's a bathtub style hull. Very straightforwardly, basically telling you put there's a strengthening bulkhead in the middle. You put that in, and then you're bringing in all your wheels and road wheels and drive sprockets, etc. You've got a gun split down the middle, unfortunately, but there's a gun here which you put into the manplate. Strangely, they include like a photograph, which is a kind of an odd way of doing things, as a mixture. But then there is also, this is quite a good thing, is that they've got a photograph of the actual tank showing you how it should look. So that's quite helpful. And then here we've got the actual turret being constructed, bringing in your gun mantlet and your base plate with the turning ring on it. You've got all your hatches going in, your aerials and periscopes and things are there. Then you've got your 50 cal, I think it is, machine gun going on the top. It does remind me of the Walker Bulldog. It's like a big Chaffee tank, isn't it, really? It's like an advanced version of the Chaffee. And then at the side you've got your 50 cal being built up here. Then you've got all your boxes, stowage boxes on the back going on there. And down here we've got various hatches. We've got plates with all the tools on it, and a spare link track. And we've got your barrel holder. And then we have got, what are they showing here? Again, it's all in Japanese, so it's really quite hard to follow. They seem to be talking about masking, I think, or using some, trying to get the canvas effect, but because there's no English writing, we can't say exactly how they're recommending it's done. Anyway, then ultimately you're bringing in your turret onto the main top of the hull, and that comes onto the main tank hull with all the tracks underneath. What it's telling you to do here, it's not in English as I say, but I know what it says because I've seen it before. They're telling you to heat up a screwdriver and then basically brand the two bits of track together with heat, and that will basically seal it. I mean, you can use super glue today, couldn't you, really? And then last but not least, we've got these rather nice action figures which they've included in the kit. And you know, for 1975, I've got to tell you now that these figures are rather nice, and you'll see so in a minute. And then finally, you've just got the final photograph here. Then you've got some marking options over the other page on the last side, which is going to tell you basically how to put your decals in there, etc. But I've got to be honest, the instructions are on this kit are a horrible weak point indeed, and very much of its time. And yeah, you can tell it's from 75. It's all there, isn't it? That you don't need to be persuaded. It's just the way that they used to do it. Anyway, let's try and turn our mind off that. Let's have a look at the plastic, see what we think. Starting with our rubber band tracks. Let's have a look at these. I've got to tell you, they look all right. These do. They look very good, actually. Considering they're nearly 50 years old, these are absolutely remarkable. Just excellent. Look at this. So, you know, the 35th scale, they're quite nicely engraved. You know, they have got some ejector pins every so often, not many of them, but then you've got this this joining system here, where you basically interlock it like so, and then they recommend, you know, using heat. I just use super glue today, but that's actually got quite a good bond already. It's quite a strong design. So they've done that quite well. I think this would be fine, to be honest. I think they'd be good, these. Yeah, those are really proper tracks. So I'm quite impressed, actually. As rubber band tracks go, they are alright. They're alright. Then we have got top of the hull. Here we've got, you know, again, it's moulded in 75. This is pretty darn good, I've got to say. I've got all the grills here on the engine cover. All the grills are there. You can see all the panel lining. This is, you could believe that was done 15 years ago, you know, rather than 20 years ago. Some faint marking in the surface. I don't think that that's going to be visible once it's painted. It's just the moulding process and the way that the plastic has sort of cooled as it's come out of the mould. But it's got great detail. It really has. It's sharp, and that's a nice bit of moulding. Nothing wrong with that. Then we have got, also loose, we've got the actual turret itself. And again, it's pretty sharp, it's very detailed, you know, for 75 this is really rather nice. I mean, if somebody gave me this on my 10th birthday back in 75, I'd have been fairly happy with that, I think. I think I'd be thinking it was, yeah, my birthday. Nice kit, you know, some lovely detail. Much better than you were getting on, you know, Matchbox or Airfix out of the time, shall we say. Then we have, and this time it's bagged for some reason, then we've got the lower hull. And we're going to come to some... oh, we've got staples. Oh, they're going to have to come out, I'm afraid. They're going to have to come out. Don't we just love this with Tamiya? So it just shows how long they've been doing it for, this stapling lark. It's a real nightmare, I hate it. Especially when you've got aircraft kits, you've got clear parts. I mean, staples and clear parts, they just don't mix. They really don't. Right, we're in. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh, that's lovely. I mean, that's really good, isn't it? You've got all the suspension there, with the dampers, and you know, the torsion bars for the bogies. That's really good. I like that. It says Tamiya 75 to 2019, so that's obviously when it was reissued. That's interesting. 75 to 2019. Okay. But yeah, it's a really nice bit of moulding. Look at that. I think that's really nice. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Good strong bathtub style chassis. Proper. I mean, that's gonna. Think how long that would take you if this was a Ryefield model. Something like a Ryefield model, you know, that would be like 80 parts there probably just to kick off to get the hull built. We don't all want that, do we? Not a second. More staples, more fun with staples. Jeez. We're just addicted to them, aren't we, really? Totally addicted to staples. I mean, that belongs in 1975 for sure. The staples and the instructions are the worst part of the kit, really. And the plastic's pretty good. We've got our decals here. It looks like they sold these to Japan, by the look of it. It's got what looks like Japanese markings. Huh. Look at that. This is Tamiya's own decals. They do seem to have a little bit of, shall we say, excess carrier film around the outside. You can see that, can't you? Yeah. But again, that's very much the style of the day. Then we've got our main drive road wheels and sprockets. You've got these little bogie wheels that are at the top, of course, tensioning roller wheels for the tracks. You've got your drive sprockets, and then you've got your idler rollers. But you know, you see all the bolts there. It's nicely detailed, isn't it? You know, for its time, this is pretty advanced stuff, really. And then over here we have got all the sort of business end of the tank. Tools, we've got lots of fine detail. We've got the lights, we've got the gun barrel here. Yeah, that's quite impressive. It's got this flash eliminator muzzle, hasn't it? And you've got all sorts of things like little tools. Jerry cans, got a 50 cal here. And then we've got the mantlet. Yeah, that's really impressive actually. Yeah, you've got some nice parts there. It's a nice kit, you know. So, sorry, zoom you out again. Yeah, for its age, it's pretty impressive, I'd say. Whoops. Sounds like my neighbours are having some tree cutting or edge cutting or something. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, final one last bag, and this is the one that's got the figures in it. And I think this is where they've done something quite clever in adding these figures, because I think they really make it quite a special addition in this kit. We always say, you know, you need figures to make models come to life. You do need figures from time to time. There's some polycaps there for the wheels, but this is the interesting thing. Oh, it's actually got 1973 stamped on this one. Look at this. Hey, check it out. God, 73. Look at the figures. You've got Tank Commander, complete with these binoculars. That's a nice figure. You've got the backpacks here and the helmets. And then you've got these two like infantrymen. One's got a rifle, one's got a Thompson submachine gun. Look at this. And again, you know, you consider the time of this. Thompson. That's excellent. You see, they've even got daggers, look, commando knives. Look at that. That's a really nice kit, isn't it? And they even come with the base, look, to actually mount them on, which is very, very much lacking today. So if you don't want to put them on a diorama, put them in a cabinet, for example, you've got a base to actually mount it on. Well, that's a really nice kit. I think the instructions are, yeah, they're absolutely terrible, aren't they? Really. But it's not a complicated kit, so it's not going to cause you that much of a problem. It's just some of that additional data about the mantle. I think it was trying to make an artificial canvas cover on the mantle, that sort of thing. They were trying to tell you how to do that. Well, you know, unless you can speak Japanese, that's going to be a bit of an issue. Yeah, I mean, you can always use Google Translate or something today, I suppose, you know. But yeah, I think that it's a shame that they couldn't have updated the instructions, even if because they don't need to update the actual moulding of the actual plastic. It's great, you know. It's really nice. So I am very impressed with that. I think it's going to do okay. It will get marked down there for yeah, one or two of those little anomalies. But apart from that, that is a smashing little armour kit, and having 3 figures in is a real bonus, you know. That means you've almost got halfway to a diorama to start with. So I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. 9 would maybe be a little bit generous, because it's a little bit, yeah, it's a bit frustrating. There's all this Japanese and there's no English writing in there. But a lot of the moulding is excellent. The tracks are surprisingly good. It's a nice kit, you know. It's a nice little Walker Bulldog. 8.5 out of 10 is where I'm at with that one. Hope you agree. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe. You just ding the little round picture here with me with the clapperboard. And if you are a subscriber already, don't forget to ding the notification bell, and make sure that you've got all your settings set to notify me for all of the notifications, and you'll get every video that's coming up. You'll be notified straight away. Anyway, thanks very much. Hope you'll give me 10 out of 10. A thumbs up, a like. Don't forget to tune in for the next thrilling instalment, because I see our friend David, this is one of his kits, and yeah, I kind of wish I'd bought that back in the day, really, because it must have been brilliant then, frankly. Excellent. Anyway, more coming soon. Hope you'll tune in for that. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.